For more on the visit, let's check in with Einar Tangen in Beijing. He's a senior fellow at the Center for International Government Innovation and chairman of Asia Narratives Substack. I think we set it up nicely. There's the serious side and a little bit of culture there. Your thoughts on this state visit? What jumps out at you?
Well, I mean, it's showing reciprocity. Actually, this is the fourth time that she has met with King Tupu. And two of them were outside. There were collective meetings where she went to the South Pacific Islands, not only this one, collectively with others, and then two royal visits here. Now, this is a part of a pattern of 4 royal visits that has happened in the last 13 years. And what it does is it shows respect for other systems. China is not trying to push an ideological line, and they show, as has been seen, a tremendous amount of respect and time is given to a country that is very small. This would be unheard of in Washington.
And Einar, a very forceful comment from the king with regards to Taiwan at a critical time for China.
Yes, I mean, but this isn't the first time. They have been clearly on this side for a long period of time. They receive a token amount of aid from the United States, but quite a considerable amount of grants from Australia. But China has really been involved in helping them to not talk about their internal matters, which is what Australia is concerned about. They call it institution building. China has been more focused on the problems, how to solve them, infrastructure, how this can help this island nation, which has a tremendous amount of debt, recover. For instance, creating microgrids. This is really huge because Tonga spends on a yearly basis between 7 and 10% of its GDP to basically buying diesel. It's one of the largest imports. If they can get away with that and start, having a renewable energy source they control themselves, would be a huge issue. But this goes to this other issue that, within China, many businesses looked to opportunities. And now, as they go abroad, they have to look for problems and creating the solutions for them.
And Tonga is an island nation quite vulnerable to the punishing impacts of climate change. The leader of Tonga, of course, pledging his support to the 4 major global initiatives proposed by President Xi, but also said the island nation will enhance communication and collaboration with China to jointly address global challenges such as climate change. That's significant, and it also shows, again, China, seems to be a vacuum there when it comes to leadership on the issue of climate change. The United States, of course, vacillating back and forth on this issue. China very much firmly in charge and trying to take a leadership role on the global stage when it comes to climate change.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things to sort out there, Mike. First off, the U.S. is going up and down, but for Tonga, it is real. They are one of the countries that has been identified as most climate change affected. And, the question is, what is the leadership? Too often, as we've seen at COP30, it was always about some country coming in and telling other countries what to do. Well, that hasn't worked. And what China is doing is trying to convene, trying to get people together. This is a global issue. It's not going to be solved by one country. It's going to have to be solved by all of them. And that is the real leadership, instituting this idea that it has to be consensus and cooperation. And these issues have to be brought to the front. So China is willing to do that. Tonga is directly affected. And this is an example of big power, small power diplomacy.
And Einar, you mentioned the word cooperation. The two leaders, of course, witnessing the signing of cooperation documents, everything from trade to education, medical care, development. This relationship continues to grow. Where do you see it going?
Well, Mike, I mean, in the immediate future, it's all about trying to survive. How do you deal with climate change in a country like this, especially with the largest country in the world, in essence saying we don't really care about this, it's a scam or a hoax. But worse than that is the on and off nature. If the U.S. simply said we're out, period, the rest of the world could just say, okay, we're going to get on with it. But with it jumping in and out, depending on the administrations, people become less certain about where they stand. They hope that the U.S. will take a role. In terms of development, Tonga has to enlarge its sphere in terms of making an economic reality for its people. There has been long periods where it's been very, very, very difficult, beset, often by natural disasters. But they have to figure out exactly what they're going to do that's going to be of value. Right now, they have a certain amount of debt, a lot of it with China. That's going to be restructured. But the issue is, how do you get out of debt? How do you take your resources and make them valuable, either by adding value on them or increasing the price?
Interesting concepts. Einar, thank you so much for spending part of your morning with us. Really appreciate it.